Hey folks, I'm just looking at the audio levels and everything seems gravy. We're not losing any frames. It's been a hot minute and yeah, we need to add a source. Display capture, window capture might work. Because one of the things we're going to be doing today, what's this program called? Clip Studio? We're going to be drawing a little bit. As you can see, there's a few things on the screen that have been drawn, and you know what they say? Any day that you are streaming and adding sources and you don't display something embarrassing is a good day, and this is one of those days. So, do we need to see this whole thing? I mean, I guess we will for now. I'm just going to try my best to remember to actually, turn it off whenever we're back into development. We'll try that. We'll see how that goes. So first thing I need to do is we're going to actually turn this off for a moment and go over what has happened since the last stream. Short answer, a bit of math. Maybe too much math. Let's hit play here. So what we've got, obviously we're going to be replacing this. You can see it moving around. That's going to be a Moosecat that we'll draw. And then we've got these 4 buttons that we want to do some work on. If we click here, you'll see we move up, and we've got this second room here. We click here, we go to this direction, make a room here. Click here, we got a room here. And room here, and if we come over to the scene view, we will find that I got all of the Z layering correct, which was an experience, just to put it kindly. Making every wall line up properly and not be a hot mess was, well, it was. We'll just go with that. It was. And, yeah. So today, we want to replace these circles, and we want to replace this hexagon. The hexagon may not happen today, but at the very least, I think we have the mental wherewithal to draw a triangle. You think so? I think so. So I'm going to grab my the tablet that I am borrowing at the moment and bring it over here, and then we will flip sources. All right, got the tablet here. Now to figure out which of these pens actually works. Not that one. That's the one that doesn't seem to have a good time. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna flip this thingamabobber here. Okay. So this is one of the walls. Obviously, if I turn on everything, you can see that's the full room, but that's not what we're working in today. What we're working in today is, first, moving the microphone so I can actually see, because, it turns out, in order to draw, you need to be able to see. Which, news to me. I didn't recognize that this was part of how it works, but... Oh, of course you gotta be up there. Hold on. There we go. New window does not need to be 1,000 or 10,247. That's quite large. Let's just go with, let's say 512 by 512. And the reason that, I need to turn down the music a little bit. The reason, that's a bit too intense for me not even drawing yet. How about that? Let's go on to the next song and find out. Yes? Ah, okay. There we go. That's more my speed for volume level. Yeah, so let's switch this over to black. We can toggle off, obviously, the back layer, which we will end up doing because I always miss when I'm coloring things in. I'm thinking, when we think about that circle that we saw, since it's going to be 4 corners and arrows, there's a few ways that we could do this. The first is we could go with something... Let's see here. Which button did I set that to? That one. Okay. The first option is we could go with Old Faithful. Do something like that where it's just basically a sharp triangle, although that's a very uneven one. But I think I want more of a circular triangle, so something we want to follow sort of this path line. So sort of go like that. Thinking like a Dorito, you know, something that's actually terrible. Let's keep working on this. Ooh, that's way too. There we go. Yeah, that's getting closer. I think that's very nearly what I want. And we can rotate it, however, so I mean, we also realistically could... Because obviously I'm not an artiste. This is like the 5th drawing I've made in recent memory. But I think that will work for our purposes. And because we were smart enough to close it off, we could probably fill in this thing. You could use the fill tool. I'm very partial to actually just drawing it in. I don't know why. Couldn't honestly tell you. I think it's just maybe that coloring feeling that you get. And then we can obviously go back through and do some... What do you call it? You don't know, because I didn't give you nearly good enough description. We can go through and make sure we didn't accidentally paint outside of it. Which I don't think we did. I think we actually succeeded with our objective here. And again, I'm not quite sure that this has the sharp enough arrow, or sharp enough point, but if anything, what I almost want to do... This is going to be kind of weird. Whoops, nope. I just want to do this. And then, let's see, is this the same in this software? I guess we're about to find out. Flip that way. Whoop. Oh, we're in the wrong layer. Oh. Oh no. I hate when that happens. What we meant to be is in this layer. And then go up to the transform. And then flip. Drag it down here. And first things first, we need to... Actually, no, we could probably just line it up and then figure the rest out in post. Yeah, I kind of like that. So we need to... that just... Whoops. Control... this one? And then if we turn that one on... Awesome! Okay! I think that looks way nicer. I don't know about you, but... I suppose really the person you're trying to please is yourself whenever you're drawing, so as long as you're happy, then... Whatever you... Whoops! Coloring on the wrong one. Coloring on the wrong layer. You always... When you see the professionals doing this stuff on the interwebs, that's something that they do and you think... How did you pull that off? Didn't you think about what layer you were on? But I can assure you it's very easy to do. Alright, so the reason we are coloring it white is so if we wish to color it in Unity in any way, it'll actually fill in nicely. Okay, so now I need to go in here with my mouse, my trusty mouse, export as a single layer, make a new folder. We'll call this one UI. And this will be our building arrow. Excuse me. And I recognize you can't see this, but I can assure you I'm going through all sorts of windows, and it is just thrilling. Okay. Then we go into art. We grab that UI, copy that arrow, and I will switch over in a moment here. And then under game, do we have interface, but we don't have UI. So we'll actually call it GUI because that's more fun to say. And then we'll turn off Clip Studio momentarily because we're probably going to come back here in a hot minute and try and draw us some kind of cat. So let's see here. I think a pivotal trick whenever you're drawing is to just kind of throw caution to the wind and draw whatever. Because in theory, much like development work, over time, you will get better at it. That's the theory. We'll see if in practice... Ah, you can see right here. I missed a little. What corner is that on? No, I can see it too. Oh, I'm jealous. Let's see here. Not only did I color out of the lines, but I don't even have a soda. What a harsh life to live. I'll fix that later. Well, I didn't say anything. I feel personally attacked. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. This is just delightful. We'll fix the positional data here in a moment. I think, I'll be honest, I think these turned out absolutely lovely. This. Let's see here. Up the corner. Ooh, that's very good. Obviously, my rotation is not the best, but yeah, I think and obviously we can scale them too. So if we thought maybe that at whoa, 0.5, 0.5, if we thought that was better, perhaps we could go with that. We're not going to for now. I think what we've got is good. Now, one problem is that the object that they are clicked by is a circle collider or sphere collider. And as you can tell, that's not going to work, Chief. So, let's see what kind of options we have. Obviously, there's box collider. We don't want to do 2D colliders because I really don't want to deal with that. I want to raycast against... Mesh collider would work if it was actually a mesh. I don't think it counts. No. The other ones do. Obviously, these buttons wouldn't normally be up unless you could build a room, so normally you would just see like this. Okay, so... Oh! Well, these are effectively UI objects. They're just buttons, right? So we could just switch these over to literally being buttons. Just a canvas that is on the camera. In fact, this could just be an overlay canvas because these buttons never move. The way I designed this game, these are always in the correct position. Ah, dear viewer, you are correct. Interesting. All right. Well then. This music makes it feel so much more intense and thoughtful than it actually is. All right, as much as I hate... Actually, no, you know what? Screw it. We're still not going to do an overlay canvas. I was about to say, as much as I hate overlay canvases, maybe this time we'll do it. But no, I'm standing by my resolve here. Plane distance 1 should put it in front of good old camera. Let's confirm that real quick. It does. All right. And if we move said camera, yes, it moves with the camera. All right. Oh, thank you. I would appreciate that. That was very good popcorn. Ooh, wow, that peaked. I hope I don't kill anybody later. Trigger warning, soda. Oh. Oh yeah, that gets the creative juices flowing. Yeah. You have expensive taste. I wonder. I kind of want to fix that chat box. Background color. I'll fix it later. I don't like quite how hard it is to read. I guess I could do... Where'd it go? Oh, I locked it. You can't... You can't edit things if you lock it. Yeah. She's so smart. There we go. Okay, yeah, later we'll get it fixed so that it's actually... Yeah, I'll eventually get a actual streaming layout. Where was I? I got distracted. Oh yes, we were making boutons! A Bhutan passport. We'll do a button. We do not need text mesh, because we do not need text where we are going. We just need our handy dandy button. Okay. And as for anchors, I wanted actually to stay centered anchored, and the reason is that as the game gets bigger, if you're playing on, like, say, a computer, not say a computer, literally, if you're playing on a computer, we do not want these buttons to move. Excuse me, because their relative position to the game field itself will not change. And it's important to remember, you know? Doody-doody-doo-doo. There we go. And... Scaly scale. Woo! Oh! .5, 0.5, 0.5. Not, well, you don't actually need Z. We'll just do 1 for Z. And 115 because I like roundish numbers. Go back into the game and hide the top button. I'm surprised it looks a little bit derpier. Probably something to do with scaling. I ain't gonna worry about it. No, I am not. Room. Button. Build button. Sure, that's what I meant. On. Build button pressed. And this is up. Look how easy and painless that was. Modular design. Woohoo! Alright. That's the build button. And for the 100th time, I'm going to go in to our game section, go down to buttons. We're just going to delete build button and make 4 prefabs really unhappy. But they know what they did. Now they're just deeply confused because they're like, wait, I'm a UI now? Well, sure. If that's what you think, move this one over here. Give it the old rotatey. Also, move this one in tighter. And I actually changed my mind, a little bit more rotatey. You will go down here. Give it a little bit of the rotatey. And I did notice what appears to be it going behind certain layers, so we'll get that fixed too. Not a problemo. Or it shouldn't be. Sorting layer always on top. And we go back to this one. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Living on the edge. Come down here. Rotatey. Yeah. There we are. As silly as my stuff looks, I'm really digging the drawn aesthetic. Okay, so now we've got up, right, down, left. And this one is set up correctly. This one is now set up correctly. This one is now set up correctly. And this one is now set up correctly. Again, of the power of modular design. Now, what we need to do here, on all of these actually, is we need to come into the main prefab, drag this into here, and I think click is what we're looking for. It's been a little while. Well, I mean, do we have it open? We don't. But we could. Yes, it was click. Okay. Go back out, check all these. Cool. Press play. Because you totally can't tell what I'm doing. Alright. And now, we don't need any of this up here. Give that the old deletey. Awesome. Okay, so 4 of our 5 objects are drawn, and those were the hard ones, I'm sure. Obviously, like I said, we need to fix this. That should be pretty easy. In fact, export single layer. Pung. Save. Oh my goodness, there are so many prompt windows when you're exporting from Clip Studio. Come over here. Copy. You can see part of the window. You want to replace? I do. There it is. We fixed it. No more weird edge. Although we got this little black spot here that... You know what? We're going to let it live. At least for now. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to draw a cat. A Moosecat. And very recently, I actually drew one. Saddest little derpy thing that you ever did see. I kind of want to take another stab at it. Yeah, so... Because, you know, nothing is permanent. Until you get hit by a bus or what have you, you've still got time to draw new things. We'll make this one, let's say 1024. You want to keep it in powers of 2 so that the, what is it, compression stuff works? That stuff I won't even act like I fully understand, but I just know that Unity gets really unhappy if it's not powers of 2. Oh yeah, and let's, before we get into that, let's double check our logic here. Okay. So it actually does scale, so then we want to do this to be scale with screen size. And that's, 1080 by 1920, is that? No. I'll go back. Okay, so we'll need to work on that later. I think we need to have it scale with screen size. And then 16:9 portrait would be 1080 by 1920, I'm pretty sure. Because the 1920 would be the height. Although you would probably want to look up cell phones, so they actually have some here. It's actually 2160 by 1080. 2160 by... Whoops. Did that backwards. And so in that initial condition, then you would want this here. Although we also need to fix the camera in this situation as well. Because we want the camera to perfectly encapsulate one room. So with that in mind, put that there. And what's that? 111. So 11. Sounding like a Japanese dog, I think. 1-1. There we are. And 1-1. Oh, 1. 1-1-1. And then now, if we switch this to... No. Alright. I'll figure that out later. There's something I gotta do there. But at the very least, it being correct here is fine. Because eventually... Oh... Wait, hold on. Let me go look at the camera real quick, and then we'll move on to the drawing. Orthographic. Viewport Rex, okay. And it's 1-to-1. I'm gonna have to play with anchors later. All good. All good. That just means one of these days I'm gonna be mentally busy again, or just looking up solutions online. That's the secret to a great many things, really. Okay. So we need to figure out sorta how we want to draw our stuff. So giving you a rough idea of the first time I did this, it looked a bit like... I mean, I could literally load up the picture, but I figure if I draw it again, then it's actually useful. Well, that's because your old cat art was fantastic. You were... So, there's actually, Stephen King, what he likes to do with his stories is when he finishes them, he puts them down for like 6 months, and then he comes back to them to see if in 6 months he likes it or if he thinks it's trash. And I think a lot of people need to do that with their works, because one way or another they go too far in a certain direction, I think. Okay, don't have a rotating arm, so we're gonna have to go through this with my wrist not twisting in a way that it will like. But you know what? That's fine. Whoops, closed the wrong thing. My apologies. Okay. So, we've got our initial layer. This is going to be basically for our sketch. I do kind of like the idea of a chonky cat. And so if you imagined, you got to do that thing that artists do, which I always thought was funny because I never quite grasped it. But it's let me get this stabilization up here because ya boy got a shaky hand. And move that over there. Ooh, she sent a link. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I kind of want to steal it. Oh, I love the eyes. Yeah. Cause yeah, you got the mouth that I was trying to get the last time I was doing this. Huh? Oh, that's fantastic. Oh yeah, man, that face is so cute. It's so much better than what I did before. I'm so bad at like getting dimensions. Yeah, you're doing like the solid black eyeballs with the white. Very nice. So maybe I just need to steal your PSD and use this stuff. Yeah, somewhere. That I do indeed. Oh, that sounds complicated, but yeah, I'll look into it. And you even got the lighting on the right sides for like the direction the sun's coming from. That's nerdy. Yeah, I'm jealous. so much better at this than I am. I don't know. Even now, like, my eyes are too close together. That's too much work. Oh my god! Okay, maybe I should. Let's draw some heads. I like that one a lot. Because originally, like, the thing that I always struggle with. But yeah, let's go back. So when you watch like fancy pants artists do this stuff, and let's delete these other layers. We don't need them for now. Trash can. So when you watch fancy pants artists do this, they always do the circles first. And they're like, all right, come in here. And so a cat is a few shapes. It's you got a head. Whoop, on the wrong layer. I'm on the wrong layer. So you got a head. It's right about here. And then you got a body. Body's, let's say, right about here. And then you got a tail. It's right about here. Maybe a few legs. Right about here. And then now you know where all the cat bits are. And I look at that and I go, huh? Oh yeah, you're right, hold on. You got the extra leg here. And now you suddenly understand balloon animals. But I see that and I'm like, how does that help? And I'm like, well, you see what you forgot. You gotta go like this. This. Gotta get those side dashes so that you understand something. I'm not quite sure what. But it is there. Anyways. I think I am just going to steal your cat. So you said they are in a PSD in our shared folder. Let's see here. OneDrive? Okay, so layout? Here? Okay. Okay. Alright, and there. And this one. Cool. Well then.
It's got a billion layers though,
So it's gonna take a moment to open. Anyways, let me show you my fat kitty. Yes. That was what I drew last time when I was fooling around. I think he's got a bit of a cute charm to him. Oh. Cannot open art_cat PSD because of a disk error. I don't know. Let me turn OneDrive on, and we'll go from there. And then make available offline or whatever. Always keep on this. Cool thing is, once I have this, then I can just trace whenever I need a new thing. And then eventually, I'll become super good at this particular cat. But then somebody's like, hey, can we have a different kind of cat? I'm like, ah, shit. Alright, so let me add a new window capture. Show you what the next level of drawing looks like. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I won't do that for now, just because I need something quick for my work, but... And then, where is this stuff? The...
I don't know.
Oh, swatches. There we go. Cool. I don't really care that he's got extra space above.
I
Like,
think it's an actual spider.
oh, then that's actually extra good. Cool. Export. Here. Don't think, yeah, it doesn't show that. Okay. Quick export as PNG because I'm sure that'll be a great size. Oh, it's like, where did the window go? I'm sure it'll be fine. Not like I'm doing it forever. Documentos. Fresh Maker. Game projects. Mansion. Assets. Game. Moosecats. Moosecat. Yeah, I guess I do see that. Okay, now we'll go back to... It's okay, little buddy. You'll end up in the game as an NPC. Oh. Ook. Here we are. Yes, you can go away, OneDrive. Alright, now we can go to our hexagon. And replace it. Oh my goodness, that is a big kitty. Oh, okay. That is an aggressively sized kitty. I like it. All right. Perfecto. Cool. Now let's get this out of my way so we can move on to other things. There will be many things to draw in the future. And in other news, I am quite warm. I'm going to turn the air conditioning on.
Black is always black, right?
Yes. Yeah, black is always black. And then all other colors we can shade. Yep. There we go. I guess it is getting kind of hot outside. All right. Now we've got our kitty cat, and we obviously we'll figure out that scaling thing later. It's not a big deal. You don't want to get too hung up on the little issues like that, because then you'll never get anything done. As you can tell, my little kitten does move around a little bit. Not a whole lot. We'll update that more later. And if I learn sprite animations, then we don't even need to do that. I would say initially just keep them all in the square, and then later we'll actually fix them for size and stuff. Because like if you want to look, and by that I just mean I can show you in this stream, all my wall pieces are actually like literally centered. They're just the full square each time. That way everything just zeroes out to the right place. And then later, I'll probably make these much smaller and fix them. I don't actually want to use the same one twice because there's going to be rooms where the two sides will look different. You know, stone and things like that. Okay, so now we need to disable these buttons, except when a certain thing happens. And that's when the game mode changes to to add a new room for whatever reason. We don't actually care right now what that reason is. But once a room is added, then, or sorry, once you say level up or whatever is required to make a new room, then these would turn on and you would select a particular direction. Now, one rule is, this is the very first room. You can't actually go beyond to this side because we don't want you to block the door because it'll eventually be a doorway here. And so along this is sort of the base axis of the manor, the mansion, whatever you want to call it. And then this way you can go as far as you want, and you could even do something like this if you really wanted. And we'll have grass or something, some infinitely tiling grass texture. But yeah. And this was me doing a bit of the old math. And we don't need to do this anymore because, at least not for now, because we are not doing a canvas layer quite yet. But basically, eventually, we are going to have GUI stuff for particular rooms when you click on the room, or they'll always be visible. But those GUI objects will tell you sort of like the status of the room, if there's something that you could do there. Maybe, send out one of your keys on mission or something along those lines. So let's see here. Right, we were going to hook up the game mode, or the feature here, so we can actually go into the build button. And let's say public void toggle button state. And this is going to be triggered whenever it hears the game state change. And I don't think... So there's a couple of different ways that you can handle this sort of information. You can either pass it through as an object, or you can give the buttons access to the game data, which is actually what I'm going to do. And again, you don't have to set things to null. I just do it because I can. It's just kind of fun. Do whatever you want. It's ultimately your project whenever you go to make something. I wouldn't worry about sort of min-maxing or doing everything perfectly every time. That's just stupid. You'll never get it done. All right, so now they all have access to game data. So now we need to go in and add a new child object. This is for cleanliness. You don't actually have to do this. Again, you don't have to do anything, but now we're gonna have a game event listener. And that listener is going to be waiting for a new data object. And this will be on game state changed. And so we'll go back over here. And on game state changed, the button will call its toggle button state. And we will say, within the mansion is basically our game controller currently. So we'll say, we'll just make a temporary function for testing this. Test state change. We'll give this a button. Test state change. They don't have to be the same name. I just do that because I can. And we need to make it enum. So we got public enum game state. And we'll have dummy equal -1. That way if you forget to set it, nothing will happen. And then we've got the, we'll say the play state, build state. And that's probably it for now. I'm sure there'll be other major states that we need. And then down here, we will have a private game state. I don't think we can use the word state because I think that's reserved. So we're just going to do this. And by default, it's already dummy. But again, because I can, because I like to, I'm going to assign it. And then down here, we're going to allow ourselves to pass a state through here. And game state equals state. And from there, we need to add a private game event on game state changed. And similar deal, we're making it private because we don't need anything to reach it. And down here, we say on game state change dot raise. Save it and go back around. And then from there, mansion, game state changed, dummy's fine. Then we come back over to the build button and we say, is it sprite or image? Get component image. Hey, you stop that. There we go. Image dot. And then it's complaining because it doesn't have the Unity UI namespace, usings, whatever you want to call it. Enabled equals, enabled equals game data dot. We goofed. This is not supposed to be here. This is supposed to be in here. And then go back to the mansion. here. Sure, it can just be right here. That's private, and then public. Whoops, we're getting there. We're getting there, team. Just give it a sec. Game state, get, return, game state, private, set, game state equals value, and we're actually going to go over here and remove this. Remove this, but we're actually going to copy it. Whoops, that was not at all what I meant to do. So whenever it's changed, it'll raise that it's been changed. And then down here, we just need to make a function. We'll call it public void change game state. And from there, you can pass through game state new state. And then it would be game state equals new state. And so what'll happen is through this function, change the game state triggers and on game state changed event, just so we remember in the future. And we can actually just put that on a new line. And then now if you hover over this, you'll see that it tells you what that does in case you forget later. But anyways, we need to now go over here and do game data dot state equal, or sorry, change game state is that. And this is actually game data dot game state. We can clean this up a little bit. And that looks lovely. Game data. And I'll explain why this is such a useful. It equals build. So, the reason this design schema is so great is that this build button doesn't need to know that this mansion, for instance, exists. It just needs to know when this function is called, which itself is called by a game event, which if we go over here, button. So if this was removed, that function would just not do anything. So you don't have to worry about null references or anything like that. And then if this function is hooked up, but you want to change the game event, you can do that trivially by just putting in a new one. If you wanted to change what it did, similarly, you could just trivially switch it. And it allows you to chain things together in such a way that you can add or remove things pretty much whenever you want. Occasionally, it can be a little hard to wrap your head around. I fail frequently, but once you get going, as they say, I hope, that it's nice. And the reason you put game data as a game object like this is that you don't have to worry about singleton references. Like, just having things statically reference one another makes it really hard to take just fragments of code and move them somewhere else. So in this regard, build button uses game data and itself, and I guess also game event, because that I always use those. So if you grab build button and these two things, and technically this interface, but again, easy peasy, you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't need some static instance class somewhere that has 1,000 other functions attached to it. You just need these base components that together make this thing. And that's why I like it. All right. Where were we? Well, that's a good question. All right, we were going to test. Do we have it? We do. And that's all hooked up. And then we want to go over to game data and make sure that we've actually hooked up the event, which we haven't. Now we have. And then we can just click play and give her a test. So we'll go over here. We're going to say, set it to play, please. Now they've all disabled. You click around there, nothing happens. We'll switch it over. We're going to say, we're now going into build mode. There they are. Now you can click them. You can switch it over to play mode. And now they're gone. Oh, awesome. You know, that's what I call a progress. So we've now established that. Casual observations, I really should add in touch controls for moving around the screen. But one thing at a time. So now we have the mansion set up. Mansion, again, is basically our game controller. It just will handle sending out events. We don't need this anymore because we know it works. We might keep it for now, but we don't actually need it. In fact, we could have just as easily put it on game data itself, but the nice thing about doing it here was we were able to confirm that you could pass the function through, which I assumed we could because I wrote it, but you never know, you know? You never know. This is all still hideous, but we'll fix that with time because, again, you want to get it working and then come back and do it well. We currently, just on start, add in the rooms. We init the data. What else do we need to consider? Obviously, adding cats to the rooms is something that we should examine. So we've got our Moosecat prefab itself coming with a box collider, which is currently way too small. I wonder why. Maybe because it was multiple orders of magnitude larger than the last one. Benefit to box colliders versus the 2D ones is that you can use raycasts on everything. You could use on mouse over stuff for 2D, and there's probably some other options, but I didn't care to do them, so we're not. All right, we can take this. We're going to apply it to the prefab. We can come back in here and confirm that our kitty cat is not visible because we need to go in here and apply this sprite change. Now we come over. Yeah, there we go. So we've got our kitty cat, Moosecat, sorry. Got our Moosecat. Sprite's all set up. Obviously, when it's walking. Yeah, actually, we could make that work. I didn't even think about that. So let's go in here. And if it's moving, let's shorten this down to 1 second. So if this value, let's float xpos equals this. Float. Oh, right. So what we're doing right now is we are sending it between a certain set of local positions that is safe for its, how do I put this? It's safe for its zone within the building. So what we know when we go and look at this building is if we take this kitty could go all the way over here. In fact, let's make a few rooms so that we can do some tests. Boop, 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 boop. And back up. Okay, so what we know about kitty, first we're going to turn off their brain, as cruel as that is. It might actually not stop the tweening. No, it didn't, because the tween is set up to on complete run itself, so it's actually self-sustaining. That's what's happening here, this bit. But that's fine, because we can just pause and drag it over. And as we can see, it will go behind the wall, as we're hoping. He's like, okay. It will go behind the wall. It'll go over these ones. So we would want to make sure that basically it stays along. It stays along from here down to here. And from there down to here is probably fine. And from there over to here. So what we can actually establish here are some X and Y bounds that are its limitations. Because what do we know? We know that the furthest down, so it's isometric, so that makes this a little interesting. But we know that, so here's the thing. There's vector math that you could do for this that would actually make it really simple, and so smarter people than me are already looking at this and going, duh. The way you can do it really simple, and I'm going to explain in abstract because I can't do the math, like I could probably figure out if I Googled, but off the top of my head I don't understand it, is you do the math as if the grid was straight up and down like an Excel sheet, and then you tilt it to the side based on a vector, and that's how you do it. But the thing is, that's hard. So we're not doing that. Or at least it's hard for me because it's not something I know yet. But the point was going to be that if the Moosecat's here, then we know that the furthest down it could be is negative 1.92. But the problem with that is, if you imagine that we figure out that it's furthest, let's grab this. if we imagine that its furthest x position is 3.61, then when you add those together, it's in a different room. Not okay, right? So what we need is basically to have sort of this zone where it can pick a random, we can either do it one of two ways. So one, we can literally do what we're already doing, which is we're giving it a range within these safe numbers where basically it kind of just goes like this, which would be perfectly feasible, and it may be what we end up doing. Or we could create a polygon that is the dimensions of the floor and then have it pick a random number that's like, say, just a little bit over to the side, so it's kind of hopping around like this. And as long as that number stays within the polygon, it'll do it. And if it can't, it'll pick a new one. And so it'll just keep bouncing about. So that's the obvious solution. And the way we could do that is we could stop playing, go into the floor, Polygon Collider 2D. And now, as you can see, we've now made this Polygon Collider. And I can't imagine that performance on this is good. But, you know, we're working with what we got, and we'll come back and we'll make it better later, you know? So we're going to do that. And now we need to pass this data to the Moosecats in some way. And the way we would do that, because they are defined by this room. Like that's where they live. And so in this instance, these cats are in many ways they are defined by the room that they are in, like their limitations and stuff like that. So there will be some kind of connection between them. The question becomes, what does that look like? How do they talk to each other? We could split this up into two different scripts and just have like a Moosecat mover script. That way, if we ever wanted to use this object somewhere else, we don't need to go through and edit this as much. But we could also make its move script public and have the cats themselves internalized by the room, since it needs to know what they are anyways, which you could actually do by game data, which you're very smart for pointing that out, you mysterious person in my head. So we can actually give these things access to game data. So we give them access to game data. And then from there, oh, do we even need to do that? Do they need access to game data? I don't think so, actually. I think just the room does, because the room just needs to be able to find the cats that are part of its room. Yes. Yes. Okay. This is all coming together. So public void move to position. And this is actually going to take in a vector 3 move pos. And then we're going to take this chunk of code, basically, and we are going to say, I'll do that, chief. And the rest of this is fine. And then... do we want the room? So it's sort of interesting. We actually, I think what we want the room to do instead is pass the safe, basically the positional data where the cat can move, and then we'll let the cat figure it out from there. Yeah, that makes sense. Would that be a correct? I'm trying to think of a good 4-dimensional container. Okay, I guess a vector 4 would be a good 4-dimensional container. Or do we just want to do a Polygon Collider 2D? Call that bounds. Ooh, that'll be weird because the value we're gonna go find is that walk zone, and we don't need to serialize it. So instead, we'll get rid of this for now. Go back down here, and then vector 3 move pos equals walk zone dot bounds. I forget. Is there a random point within a random point within polygon 2D bounds? Find its bounding box and a random point within that. That's not helpful. That is. There we are. Ooh. Very nice. Bounds min, bound max. This is that old good artists copy great artist steal or whatever. Okay, so private. And then we will pass the polygon collider through somewhere. That part we don't need to worry about as much. And then I don't really like vector 3 move pos. I don't really like how this is laid out. I don't like this either, so we'll fix this up. Vector 3.0 move pos.x equals this. Move pos.y equals this. And we don't care about z. Get rid of that. Magnifique. So next, we need to pass the data through. Well, for the sake of testing this, let's actually just attach it directly real quick. And then from there, then we'll go back and do it the right way. Because we're not actually instantiating the cats yet. There's just one in the scene. So, no need to give ourselves more work than we need. And the keen-eyed among you will notice that we haven't set the bounds yet. So then min bound equals... what do we call it? Walk zone. Walk zone dot bounds dot min. Max bound equals walk zone dot bounds dot max. And that should take care of it. And it's probably too far. It's probably too far to the edges, so it actually will jump, like, probably right to this precipice, so we would want to... Whoa! Oh, my goodness! Okay, so what we're noticing here is sort of what I said, which is, when it goes to one of these outside, let's check the 0 position. Okay, so... that position, when we look at the floor, is dead ass on. Okay, so we need to add the height of the cat, basically. Alternatively, I'm just going to do this real quick as a proof of concept. Oh, why did that go onto that window? Come here. Pivot. Bottom center. Now we go look at the Moosecat. And that is not what we want to do, but it should look better. Yeah, okay. Whoa! Oh no. Oh, it's still going out. Still going out. Okay. Well, that's something we'll work on. If we take off, let's say 80% from the bounds, I imagine that'll actually work. Center. Apply. Close. Go back over to our handy dandy work. And times 0.8. Realistically, you could just have it walk back and forth along the center of the room, but why do things the easy way when you could make it too complicated? So I'm really confused. Am I getting this backwards? Let's check here real quick. I don't think so. Oh. Well then. So, oh man, I keep breaking the tab key off this keyboard. I need to fix that sometime. Do while apparently walk zone dot overlap point move pos. Pop that on there, pop these in here. I apparently missed a key step. This is why I'm terrible at IKEA furniture. So far, so good. So far, so good. No! No! But still, way better. Way better. Okay. What if... So the problem we're seeing is at the bottom. And I think that's because the cat itself... Let's go watch this again, and we'll pause it the moment it goes down there. Okay. Oh. Too slow, too slow. Yeah, okay, okay. Take off another 5%. Because that's all you need to do. Just keep removing a little bit of the square until it looks good. Oh my god! Wait, is that making it worse? Very interesting. Oh. Would it make it... Okay, so you see... Its transform is... So amusingly now, I actually do think that if we did that, what I don't want to do, I'll just do the math instead later. But I think if we do this real quick, we should find that it'll stay in. Maybe just barely, but... Yeah, okay. So it's just the math for the fact that the center of the cat is not where it is. Like, the cat itself, its feet are halfway down the height of its body. So what you actually need to check is whether the point plus half of its height is in the zone, the auto zone. So, if we do some math, heaven help us, move position, we need to add... I'm gonna get this backwards. I'm gonna get this backwards. You know what? Let's just get this backwards. Sprite renderer. Sprite dot height, I think. Oh, is it? Would bounds be it? Hold on, hold on. Position. No. Thinking. So we need to add a half a unit. What doth I need? don't think it's erect. I think it would be the bounds, the center minus the y bound, I think. Bounds dot, because center is where it is. And then if we're trying to get, I always get this backwards. If we're trying to get the distance from here to here, that would be this minus the min dot y. I think it's this. So let's just debug this real quick. And if that becomes a negative number, we got it right. And if it becomes a positive number, we got it wrong. It seems quite large. But I think that is the right thing. While I'm actually curious, can I do this? I didn't think so. Can I do this? It was worth a shot. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Wait. Control Z some more. There we go. Okay. So what we could probably do here is vector 3 offset equals this. And this is hideously inefficient, but it's fine because we're just playing around. Move pos dot y. If we subtract the distance minus offset dot y minus equals, will you let me do that? You will. Aw, bless your heart. That's either going to be correct and I'm going to be happy, or it won't be, and I'll just come back to you later. Realistically, we could just take off 50% from the walk zone, and that would definitely be safe, but apparently the ludic background worker is furious with me. Whatever that is. Did I go infinite? You know what? I did. Oh, casual hour. The good news is, well, maybe good news. We might be able to attach and then break it so that we don't have to. That actually work, or will modern Unity not allow that? So normally, something you can do is you can attach to Unity and break a value that it's stuck doing a loop on. And if you do that, it will break the loop. So, can I force it? It's possible that I can't. That's a shame. Okay. Yeah. Whoops. That's okay. Most of our work was in prefab, so I don't think we're actually going to lose anything. There's no fix for being an idiot. This is true. Alright, let me turn it back on. And set it to 0.5, and we'll leave it there for the night. But, you know, it's a good lesson in that sometimes you'll goof when you're doing while loops, and that's why you should always have an escape of some kind. Apparently the amount of distance I was removing was too large, and so it was never within the bounds. Which, you know. Okay. What do we got? What was the damage here? Let's see how long it takes to fix. Oop. There we are. Well, first things first, we notice that our kitty cat is quite large. And we lost... not a whole lot. Just the UI stuff that we did. Which is a little bit surprising. I'm usually better about saving. But, conveniently, the buttons do still exist. Camera. Yeah, we'll fix that real quick. And then we'll leave it there. I think that'll be a fine resting place, as it were. So the cat is good, except for the collider, which is there. Because again, we did a lot of work in prefab, so even though the scene got lost, not the end of the world. Canvas, set it to camera. Slap on the main camera. Distance 1. Sorting layer always on top. Yo, this is a lot easier the second time. The button is here. It has its base. Awesome. Yeah, this is going to be real quick. Okay. It still has its event. The event's all hooked up. Oh, just beautiful. That's good. Game data is almost correct. Awesome. And again, this is the benefits of working with a modular setup. Is that if you goof bad, you don't lose hours of work, you just lose minutes of work. Which I can handle. That's a little bit less painful. Oh. Cool. And then this is up, right, down, left. We're going to save real quick. Go through, fix all of their directions. Hit play, give them a quick test. Cool. Okay, so those all still work. The code still works. Hit save again. Go into the cat. I'm delighted by how little that hurt us. It's already at 0.5. We'll get rid of this evil bit. And what will change the next time we work on this is we'll have it actually do a little hop a certain distance, like let's say a quarter of a unit to the left or the right. And yeah, that doesn't seem bad. And then it'll check if that distance it wants to hop a little bit is acceptable or not. Oh, still went out there. That's fine. We'll work on it. Not a big deal. But yeah, I think that we didn't lose very much, which is good. Gizmos, please. Yeah, we could probably... In fact, oh, I'm so silly. If we wanted this to be less annoying... let's go into the starting room. Let's do one more thing before we go. Hold Alt. Is that... Ah, here we are. Wait, sorry, what's it say? Gotta read the thing. Hold Shift to handle the scale uniformly. Okay. So what we could actually do, if we don't end up just using a better solution down the road anyways, is to control, shift. There's some way to delete the points, and I just don't remember. Is it just literally delete? Oh! Not what I wanted. But we could go through and actually shrink the polygon itself so that just as an example, you could come in and move it in sort of like to here, because you figure the wall's got some kind of ooh, nice, some kind of body to it. Does it mention how we delete points? I could have sworn there was a button you could click. Like you could hold control and... Ah, there we are. Magnifique! Okay. This also has the added benefit of drastically reducing the number of polys. Or triangles, I guess it would be. Getting there. So many. That looks excellent. We could probably bring this one to like right here. Yeah, so if we did that and then tried it. Oh, because I deleted it. Whoops. Yeah, okay. That's fair. Even Control Z won't find that. So it might still not be correct, but because we've reduced its play zone, it should, more often than not, stay within the room. And it's looking... Yeah. Excellent. Oh, nice. I like when things work out, you know? Is it 100% correct? Probably not. But, gets off... Yeah, oh, dang. That's pretty good. Okay, so it's a little bit too much freedom on that side. But, you know, you get the idea. So we could actually move it in to say here. Do a little bit of the old cleanup. Maybe to here. Bring that over. We're just kind of trying to reduce the number of points we need to mold. Sorry, Steve. There we go. Yes. And I'll try one more time, and then we'll think into stream for there. That'll be pretty good. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yep. Easy as that. And yeah, you could just move around while he's dancing because it's just local position, so don't matter to us. And then we can go over to our mansion, set it to play mode, and the buttons go away. So yeah, we'll stop that. Hit save, even though there's nothing left to save. And celebrate, because we are now to the point where we are no longer using any art that's from Unity itself. Oh, nice. Now I'll just probably keep doing that. Like draw all the gooey stuff and whatever else. I mean, obviously the fonts won't be drawn, but yeah. Good stuff. Thanks for watching. And yeah, this will probably end up on YouTube with some stupendously light editing, I imagine. Good night.